Welcome back, folks. We are back in action. I've traded out Tully for my new friend Tiger. She, of course, is our resident Challenger friend. You've been taking care of the Challenger Cup for a while now, right?
Yeah, ever since it started, I've been casting a couple times through that. I've followed these teams from the 7 weeks. We took 1 week off for the DreamHack, though.
There you go. So she definitely bringing her knowledge here and going to help us break down some of these games in depth. Speaking about the game number 2 for the last set, we're going to work on bringing that to you. The teams are playing right now. We're going to see if we can bring that later, but instead of sitting on a wait screen for like 20,000 hours, instead, we're just going to keep rolling with the action. Risky Behavior is going to be taking on Modern... Most Wanted. I always make that mistake, even with casting one of their teams in the SCL. So Sanguine Esports, they're up 1-0 against Weenie Hut Juniors. That is a best out of 3, but Most Wanted versus Risky Behavior. This is the matchup that we're going to take a look at here. Tiger, what can you tell us about both of these teams?
Well, these teams have only faced each other once. They faced each other in the first week of the Challengers Cup, and unfortunately, for Risky Behavior, Most Wanted came out on top. And if you don't know Most Wanted, they've also been known as Salsa Squadron, or you might have known them when they were under Circuit Esports. So they went through a couple of name changes, but the roster has stayed the same. Yeah,
these guys are absolutely incredible. You've got fineokay over there in the solo lane, Kaeydan in the jungle, Sheyka is going to be your mid laner, and then Sabbeth and Wowy is going to make up your dual lane. These guys are really strong in general. I always have my eyes on fineokay. I think he's a very intelligent dude, and he brings that out on the battlefield. Who do you specifically look at when it comes to M-Dub?
I like watching Kaeydan, but Sheyka. We've seen a lot of great plays coming out from Sheyka, especially some Scylla destruction.
So Scylla's going to be hot on the menu, at least for the guys on M-Dubs. We'll see if it gets banned out by Risky Behavior. Let's head to picks and bans right away as they have the first pick, first ban. And let's just run down the names for these guys as well. Mangoh, IFates, Shaliber, Killateral, and Venenu.
And on Most Wanted, we got fineokay, Wowy, Sabbeth, Sheyka, and Kaeydan, as mentioned. A couple of bans I'm expecting to see. Nobody wants to deal with Venenu's Hu-Yi, but instead we're going to see the Ao Kuang. We don't see a lot of targets, maybe not in this first best of 3, but Hu-Yi, both hunters like to run with the Hu-Yi and on her. So
both of those characters, they're really all about the brawl. So Wowy and Venenu definitely going to be looking towards the fight. Most Wanted, well, they saw the last set. They don't want anything to do with that Rat Tasker, so they'll take it off. The Soul Ban is interesting. Is Sheyka known particularly for it, or Wowy?
We've seen Soul a little bit.
Okay.
Occasionally they might pick them up. She's very high burst, high damage, and like you mentioned in the last game, she's a tower objective shredder. And then Fafnir getting banned out from Most Wanted. Don't want to go ahead and deal with that.
Yeah, just something new to take it off the table. And I think, Soul gets a resurgence with the removal of the Golden Bow. Now Soul, her incredible wave clear, a little bit more valuable with Golden Bow off the table. But Raijin, nothing's changed there. He's still a dominant force, so Risky Behavior is going to be picking him up for Shaliber for the burst mage in the mid lane.
So Risky Behavior, sometimes their quote-unquote strat, if the game gets going well, it really just runs on IFates and Shaliber. If they keep going and have that great synergy, they will carry the entire game.
Which is a lot of what we see from these North American squads, the jungle mid lane focus. I mean, that's what brought Hungry for More on the European side from number 8 team going to DreamHack, right? Pretty much just Captain Twig and Pretty Prime combining and finding that rhythm. So gonna look for similar stuff on the side of Risky. Most Wanted, the Cabrakan and the Neith. Is this another mid lane Neith for Sheyka, or is this Wowy's?
I cannot tell yet. More than likely, Sheyka's probably going to go with more of a magical burst mage like the Scylla. But we're just going to have to see. Now, Cabrakan, he's very versatile. He can go anywhere. He can be in the solo lane. You can put him in jungle. You can put him as the support.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have that kind of. That's going to have flexibility there.
Yeah, Most Wanted with one of the most ambiguous drafts we've seen thus far. Neith can go in the long lane to set up the burst, etc. And Cabrakan, multi-talented, as we just heard. Athena, certainly going to be the Guardian, but Hades, there's a character we see rarely. He can play largely in the solo lane or the mid lane, but with Raijin already selected, I think we're going to see him in the short side.
I expected this from Mogao on another team in the Challengers Cup. I wouldn't expect this from Mangoh. I wouldn't expect this from Mangoh in the solo lane. I would have probably preferred to see his tier because he can absolutely destroy. But we are probably going to see that Hades in the solo destruction. But Most Wanted gonna go ahead and retaliate with the Khepri.
So the ban for Nemesis right away is telling us that Most Wanted want to avoid some of that burst out of Risky. And the Freya ban, you're nodding. Tell me why you're not surprised about this Freya ban.
Magical ADCs.
Yeah?
So Wowy likes to play Hui on her, but that magical ADC can be very destructive, and Freya can snowball so easy. If they can get IFates and Shaliber going at that point, then it's just going to be a nasty train wreck.
Also with the selection of Neith, if that Neith goes into the mid lane, you've got to make up the magic somewhere else, so it does make sense to ban out the Freya and the Chronos. There you go. Both magical hunters taken away by risky behavior, so clearly understanding the goals and wants of Most Wanted. Not an instant pick. We've seen quick picks from MW so far. This one they're going to have to think about, and they'll wind up with Ravana. So not ready yet to commit to the Hunter. They're going to send Ravana likely into the solo, which tells us that it's a jungle Cabrakan.
More than likely, Cabrakan becomes Fat Loki in the jungle, and it's disgusting to watch. But Ravana's a very safe pick going into the Hades because Ravana can hold his own in a fight. After a couple of levels, he's going to really be able to go toe-to-toe. And Risky Behavior going to get their one of their trump cards for their ADC, picking up that Hui, and then a very aggressive pick on Batz.
A lot of disruption here coming out from RB. You can see Hui's going to drop the Suns on top of Hades nonsense, and as soon as that's over, Batz going to drop the disco ball as well. So a lot of nonsense, just nonsense on the side of Risky Behavior. Whereas Most Wanted's composition, a little bit more normal, shall you say.
It's a little bit more meta, you could say.
Yeah, there you go.
Janus in the mid lane going to make up for a little bit of the global presence that Athena would have given for Risky Behavior. So they're going to be able to get where they need to go for quick team fights, engagements, ganks, whereas Neith, as we saw in the previous game, can come in very useful with those long map-to-map side gank attempts as well with the World Weaver.
I love what Most Wanted did right there. They go ahead and they pick up the very ambiguous Cabrakan and the Neith, and then as soon as they see the bans get wasted, I want to say, on the magical hunters, we see that pivot, and Neith, whether or not she was always meant to be the hunter or not, that's irrelevant. It's about the trickery and the thought process. So Most Wanted going to be heading up against Risky Behavior of Venenu on this Wowy. Certainly going to be active. A lot of vision already. Right away, you can see nonsense coming out.
A lot of vision and a lot of pots. Mangoh, IFates, Shaliber, Kaeydan, and Sheyka all opted to go for that pot start.
That is interesting, but something even more interesting. Golden Bow is gone, and we have seen that start forever. And a lot of people just expected, well, with Golden Bow gone, we're going to go back to Transcendence and or Devo gloves, and that's what we've seen. But something very different coming out from the Wowy today. Rank 2 Tower Shield.
Yeah, he wants to build that into Shifter Shield.
Okay. All right, so Shifter Shield, I mean, it's going to give you a chunk of power. That's 60 power. That's a lot of power. But why specifically is he going to build Shifters right away?
That I'm not entirely sure, but it's something that Venenu does a lot.
Okay, interesting. So certainly a fun fact.
I mean, even if I don't fully understand it, watching these teams, it's been working out for him in the past. But we're going to see a standard start coming out from everybody. Going to have that rotation over towards the right mid camp with the Batz, and Raijin going to go ahead and take that quickly. And with no rotation coming out from the jungler just yet, they might be able to take both mid camps if they hurry.
So standing back on this Hunter choice for the Tower Shield, basically what's going to happen is 60 power is like I said, it is a whole chunk. Shifter Shield gives you 60 power when healthy, 40 power when not, but some additional protections in that regard. So it's a very interesting start, and we're going to deal with some of the damage coming out from Wowy. You know, I think I would have liked the Shifter Shield start a little bit better if there was a physical jungler, but the fact that the Cabrakan is lurking in the jungle, it's definitely going to be an interesting look.
It doesn't help on all sides. But either way, a little bit of aggression coming out, two-man taunt coming out from Killateral, but they're going to continue going after it. Wowy with the beautiful backflip going to be able to get out of any kind of damage, and Killateral's forced on the retreat.
I almost thought Venenu was going to find that ricochet after the fact. Not going to, however. So a little bit of poke put the way of Killateral, caught during the shield slam, and going to get caught one more time.
They are not letting him get out. Athena's getting taunted out, or Athena's getting essentially taunted out pretty bad, forced to be on the retreat into the deep depths of their tower, which is going to hurt them experience-wise later on.
Yeah, just one creature or minion rather, not too many. So good look coming out for the guys on Risky Behavior, or at least a better one than they thought they might be facing, but certainly not on the winning side of this lane, which should be expected. Neith and Khepri definitely going to be your in the conversation for some of the best clear, without a doubt.
Indeed, and with the Watcher's gift, going to be able to help even if they're not fully in, fully up in front.
Right.
So Killateral going to be able to get the benefits from that item at least. But not much going on in solo either. A little bit of a slap fight, but we are going to see IFates get a little bit more aggressive and jumping forward. But Most Wanted don't want to deal with it. And once again, Killateral's going to go ahead and get stunned out. But now it's a lot of damage to the Ricochet, and Wowy going to be able to take him out before Venenu can do anything.
First blood going the way of Most Wanted. Tried, but could not find the save. Killateral falls down, and a lot of that, the positioning the entire time, unfortunately. Killateral was very aggressive, and against the Khepri that has that opportunity, it's going to be a little bit rough. So Most Wanted definitely expose that weakness, and it's going to go down the wrong way. Right side, a little bit of a slap fight, as you mentioned before. The Ravana versus the hi-rez. This is an interesting matchup.
I haven't seen a lot of hi-rez, and it's really cool to see it, but it's still one of those things that you're not necessarily prepared for or ready for. But either way, we're almost 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. We have that one kill for Most Wanted Esports, and right now, topping the player charts, Neith with 1,200 damage, followed by Ravana.
Yeah, I mean, Neith definitely going to be on top, obviously finding a kill herself. Ravana, on the other hand, he's in the short lane. It's all about just poking and fighting and punching and doing what he can. So we're going to see him sit up there just a little bit. But Mangoh on this hi-rez, this is really where I want to talk. Because as you said, a little bit of a spicy pick. He's going to come around the side. He's level 7, so the ultimate's available to him. Dash forward, trying to find 2. There's an ultimate at Batz as well. Dropping the hi-rez Pillar of Agony. Fantastic play. But fineokay is able to take out the jungle. And despite Mangoh's fantastic ultimate, he gets surrounded, he gets rebounded, and he gets downed. 2 kills for fineokay, and that's going to put him in a fantastic spot, up 500 gold against his enemy solo lane.
One thing I want to mention about Most Wanted Esports, they haven't had any roster changes, whereas Risky are just or a big pack of people that have played CC before,
sure,
or have been in competitive play, whereas Most Wanted have kept the same roster throughout even some of the community tournaments.
So when it comes down to it, I mean, there's a lot of raw talent on Risky, and we see that. We saw a lot of fun stuff going on there, but Mangoh had a great play, and Fates had a great play, and Killateral didn't have a great play, but Shaliber certainly did. Most Wanted, on the other hand, they were able to corral everything, so just that the fact that Most Wanted have a little bit more synergy, if you will, allow them to bring that team fight.
Yeah, synergy and communication are definitely key, not only in the mid lane and jungle relationship, but also as a team. It's a higher tier at that point, and that's why you look for those teams that have been together forever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole new era of SPL going on, and the way the SPL and the Challenger Cup are related are, I won't say they're like siblings, they're sort of like distant cousins where it's going to trickle down after a while. And the era of SPL that I'm referencing is this intelligent thought process, and it's all about this chemistry, this synergy. We see teams like Panthera and teams like Enemy go ahead and win because of team play rather than just there's an answer in the jungle. And I think we're seeing that evolve into the Challenger Cup as well.
We look like Cabrakan wanted to go in for the gank, but Venenu was able to spot him out, decided to go ahead and hang back just a little bit. Neith wasn't even able to get him out. Wowy doing their best.
Yeah, just being extra careful right now. You can see some of the wards going on as well. Tons of vision coming out, and as Tiger had brought to us, yes, there is that shifter's shield. So Venenu going to be able to take these fights a little bit more interestingly than you might expect, because as we said, got a lot of protections on him now.
Yep, Crow's Mark going to do a little bit extra damage onto Neith with that Ricochet, but not going to be enough to phase Wowy at this point. The farm game is still going strong.
Phase Wowy. Is he known for his trick shots?
Sometimes.
Venenu on that Ricochet play, certainly looking for it. We saw one earlier, an attempted one. He just barely missed, but he predicted the backflip location of the Neith for the bounce off the wall. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, though, so I can't give him credit just yet. When we see it, I will definitely call it out. Fates being pinged out. Most want to know that everybody's around, especially after that Athena skin sounds the alarm. So they want to be a little bit careful here, they being the blue team. Fate's going to jump away. And with that jump on cooldown, that's going to neuter a lot of what risky behavior wanted to do by those right side Harpies. Most wanted to pick them up.
Most Wanted took that incredibly quick. It looked like Risky Behavior wanted to try to make something out of it, but unfortunately for them, it just got eradicated so quickly there was no replay.
I mean, that's the problem, or not the problem, that's the good side of what Most Wanted have here in their core. Cabrakan's going to be able to burst down a lot of those too. Cabrakan and Sheyka are going to be able to one-shot those groups together as long as they combine their damage. So with the threat of the Khepri, it's just not going to be a good look for Risky Behavior trying to find the Harpies.
Speaking of threat, Mangoh getting a little bit threatened by that Ravana, forced to go ahead and back, getting pushed out a little bit later on in the mid to early game. So not looking well for him just yet, but with that teleport, going to be right back in the lane before he misses any farming experience.
Building up into what likely to be a Warlock Sash, unless we see something a little bit interesting. Gem of ISO certainly would be a choice, but an interesting choice. And I love the play coming out from Most Wanted. Mangoh's teleport on cooldown, so right away they try to leverage that. And instead of going for the objective, go for the kills. Killateral down for the count, almost. Oh, and the stun's going to help out. There's the hit from Kaeydan. 4-0 thus far. Looks like Most Wanted going to keep on coming. And Risky not going to take the bait.
Tycho Drums pumping out a lot of damage, but unfortunately for the boys in blue, it was not enough. Now, Most Wanted esports aren't necessarily daunted from going back to this Gold Fury at this point, but it looks like Risky Behavior aren't going to let it happen. Kaeydan with a beautiful stun, but now he's getting trashed out, going to be able to be finished off by Shaliber, but now the Hades ultimate pulling them all in. Mangoh going to be able to take out fineokay, but Shaliber coming in, and Venenu taking out Sheyka as well, but they're not done yet. Wowy going to get taken out by Venenu, and that's going to be a deicide.
Extremely well played by Risky Behavior. Most Wanted had the absolute setup there. Excellent. Force Mangoh out of lane. Oldest trick in the book. Teleport v teleport. You can't port, but I can. But what happened was Most Wanted wanted to play the next step. All right, so we're here. We have the teleport advantage. Let's go for the Gold Fury. That's the easy play. But instead of taking it, Most Wanted to go, all right, we have the easy play. Now we're going to go for the gank. Now we're going to go for the Gold Fury bait gank, which is sort of like the secondary play. But I almost feel like you sort of have to pick one, because by going for the Gold Fury bait and then the kill play, what happened was you give Mangoh the time to rotate. You go and you find the kill, you get your pick, congratulations. But then when you go and retreat back, you no longer have that teleport advantage. So the downside is you're low. You're being Risky Behavior is low, or rather, Most Wanted is low from aggressing on the objective and losing a lot of HP and cooldowns from the team fight. And then Risky Behavior, well, Mangoh's there, one ultimate, and he catches 3 players. The credit went to other people, but Mangoh got 3 kills in that team fight by pressing Pillar of Agony. It was just fantastically placed, and that is where Hades excels, by showing up late.
Showing up late, but showing up nonetheless. That kind of became a reverse bait and switch.
Exactly.
I mean, Most Wanted were going for it, looking for that Gold Free. Risky Behavior came in, called their bluff, and then took advantage of it at that point. So it's looking back at those graphs, we're 10 minutes and 15 seconds in. Risky Behavior now up with only by 1 at this point, but those graphs tell a different tale. It's kind of swung back in favor of the blue.
Exactly. Most Wanted had made a lot of strong plays. You can see them dipping down almost a 2K gold lead at 10 minutes. Definitely something to be interested in, but great play coming out from the other side, able to turn it around. Venenu drops an ult, and his opponent's going to walk away.
Yeah, not going to be able to find that stun off the ricochet. Instead, going to send those 9 stuns down. Kills a little creep in the meantime, at least.
Yeah, he got his farm there. Sometimes that's all you can really look at, right?
Every little bit counts,
I was just about to say that. Every little bit counts. Killateral, on the other hand, this has been a rough game for him. Hasn't been able to really find the initiations that he wants to find, and has been picked and poked out just a little bit, whether it's in lane or the jungle. So Killateral, he is a much better player than we've seen in these first 10 minutes, without a doubt. So I am wondering where he's going to show up.
We're still waiting for it, but Killateral has been seen, as you mentioned, a fantastic shot caller throughout the Challengers Cup. So maybe it's just this one game, maybe something off his peg. But either way, I don't think we're not going to see him show up.
No, you know what? You meant, like, you're very correct there. That his gameplay this game has been. Like we said, it's 10 minutes in. He's made a couple of mistakes. It's no big deal. But his shot calling's on point. And Risky Behavior, make no bones about it, that entire sequence that we were so excited about, that was shot calling. Yeah. That was a shot call. You can leave Hades in that solo lane, but somebody told Hades to come over. And if it's Killateral, you know what? he's made up for his transgressions.
I mean, while I sit here, IFates, Shaliber, they're the ones that'll take the game and run with it. Killateral's the one that sits back. He's a little bit, I don't want to say passive, but he's the one that says, okay, yeah, go do this. It's safe to go ahead and do this. And you go ahead and aggress there. Put that pressure where it needs to be.
And that's pretty much why Risky Behavior were able to win their last exchange. Most Wanted, on the other hand, just going to clean out some of their jungle right quick. Nothing too extravagant going on here for the guys on Most Wanted. Looking for the next real big opportunity. Gold Fury is going to be down for another full minute, so that's really not on the menu. It's pretty much these right side harpies and maybe a kill.
Maybe a kill. Have a little bit of a rotation. Risky Behavior have 3 members in mid lane. IFates going to go ahead and walk off towards the bottom side. Looks like we're going to have a rotation over to the solo lane. Mangoh hanging out pretty deep into tower, but instead we're going to go ahead and wait for these camps. Like you mentioned, that's going to be that pinnacle point, but Most Wanted going to take it and with nothing.
Yeah, they're able to clear, like I said, the Kaeydan and the Sheyka combination are able to just smack down those harpies. You know, something very interesting. This is the choreographed dance. The jungle hanging out with the mid lane a lot, but this is more. Kaeydan has just not left mid lane at all, whatsoever. Zero. No ganks, no thoughts, nothing. They've been holding hands the entire time. Is this what we're used to seeing?
I don't know. It's probably more of a passive play coming out because that pressure on the mid lane can help change or swing that game. So having that Cabrakan in the mid lane is going to almost intimidate and deter Most Wanted from pulling any kind of crazy attempt.
And Risky Behavior thinking about starting their own crazy attempt. They've got 3 people by the Gold Fury. Thought they were going to try and sneak it, but Most Wanted smell out any sort of attempt. And they're going to show up as well. So nothing happened. Nothing lost, nothing gained as far as the Gold Fury is concerned.
It's almost like Risky Behavior is surprised that they caught Most Wanted Esports down with their pants down. So it's more trying to feel out the game and figure out where they're going to be able to capitalize next.
Yeah, that was a pretty egregious mistake coming out from Most Wanted, and clearly they don't want to remake the same mistake, so they are playing a little bit more passive. fineokay going to go ahead and back. He had a fantastic sequence himself with that double kill early on. That should help him out just a little bit.
He just bought his breastplate of valor, so that's going to help out with some of the cooldown reduction, physical protection.
I love the order of the items as well. Starting out with that Urchin nice and early allows him to get those stacks up, so pretty standard stuff. And then as we talk about standard, let's take a look at our Wowy Hunter. He's going standard after the fact. He picked up the tower shield and built it in shifters, and that's weird, but everything else seems to be pretty normal.
So far, so good. But talking about Venenu real quick, his main pick is the Wowy, and he's been able to, I don't want to say carry his team because it's a big team effort, but he's been able to help his team secure the 3rd spot, the 3rd seed in the Challengers Cup with 135 points, and that's definitely nothing to sniff at. So Venenu going to go ahead and finish off this camp, take the red buff, and head back to lane.
And I mean, 2-0 and 3 certainly very strong, and you see him number 1 on the player damage as far as his team is concerned. Ravana still crushing it, but that's the solo lane.
7,800 damage, though. Still, those numbers at 15 minutes and 24 seconds into the game is crazy. I like to see Ravana in these team fights. Speaking of team fight, hold on a second. Kaeydan's looking for Venenu, going to be able to get that stun, but the dive bomb's going to get him out of any immediate danger, and it looks like Most Wanted Esports aren't going to put the pressure down as Shaliber's able to sit next to this Gold Fury without much issue. That's going to be just a full disengage.
Yeah, it looked like Most Wanted, they just wanted to pick. They wanted to find one player out and then have the numbers advantage for the objective. Not going to be the case. Both solo laners have joined the party, so you know that something's going to happen. It's Kaeydan double taunt coming out of Killateral. Nice setup, but not enough follow-up. There's a root and there's a pull. Kaeydan blocked off from the rest of the team. There's a fantastic Suns, and Kaeydan going to get credit for Killateral. Quick hands on the support. That'll save the life of Cabrakan, and well, there's the pick Most Wanted we're looking for.
And fineokay pinched between 3 members, but the World Weaver going to be able to stun out Venenu. And now the pull onto Mangoh. Kaeydan's going to be able to get the stun, and Kaeydan's going to finish him off in the back line. But now the Fear No Evil is good, and now they're still looking for Kaeydan. Shaliber's going to be able to finish him off, and now IFates is on the run.
It's about damn time they take out that Cabrakan, but Sheyka punishes the enemy team for doing just that. Great portal coming out, and fineokay is going to be on the backside. Love those Janus ultimates to help out the squad. Venenu showing up. Gold Fury started, and there's the Athena ultimate. So you've got duo lane presence here as well. Goldtree half HP. fineokay doing what he can to zone, and he's going to chase out the Hunter all the way out, and with Killateral on the escape as well. The team leads to Goldtree. Most wanted. He was just zoning.
They were worried about it, though, but now they're going to go ahead and continue pumping as much damage as they can. This Gold Fury is a little bit less than half, and at this point, it's only Killateral and Venenu, but the trouble's coming out. There's a lot of damage coming out from Shaliber, but most wanted are able to secure it, but now fineokay is not fineokay. Venenu is hot on his heels, and with that crow's mark, if he gets that ricochet, it's going to mean trouble.
Yeah, it was rough. Very close play. Kaeydan shows up looking at Venenu. He's going to fight his way through these Cabrakan walls. Ooh, risky behavior. That was...
Risky behavior.
I would have liked to see them be more risky, but they're going to go for the standard and pick up the tier 1 tower. No big deal. I would have liked to see risky chase those kills. Those are the kills you chase. Those are the kills you chase, and that's why you never say never. Never chase a kill. Nah, you chase a kill after that. 10% HP on everybody. You gotta go for the gold there. Either way, most wanted to pick up the objective, sitting up 2k gold. And now risky behavior, trying to get aggressive in the enemy jungle. Works out just a little bit. Fates drops the ult defensively, and him and his solo laner will be fine.
Yep, so instead, Most Wanted Esports going to be able to secure their own buff, whereas Risky Behavior are doing the same. I said it yesterday, I always celebrate when teams can get their own buffs, because at this point, Challengers Cup is all team fight and stealing that jungle. If you can starve out your team, that's the best way to go about it.
And we've seen that time and time again about those invades, and especially here, you've got a mage in the solo lane. Everybody's going to want to be looking towards that invade. Hades has to spend a long time basic attacking that blue buff down, so it's going to be a little bit of a problematic situation for him, but he's got help from his friends. 3-man rotation of the blue buff. Yeah, Hades, you've got it.
Yeah, no, just go ahead and grab that. While he doesn't necessarily fit in the meta when it comes to the solo, with the solo pick against the Ravana, still... It's in the team fight that he really starts to shine, and we saw that earlier on.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's really what Hades is about. I'm very interested in the build, however. Tier 1 tower falling down on the left-hand side. Most wanted grouping up as 4. He's got the Warlock Sash, and it looks like he's building into some power item. That is very that's very interesting. I'll use the word interesting. Normally we see more of a warrior build come out from Hades players here in the solo lane, but was able to get out of tier 1 tower.
I mean, interesting, aggressive. They're pretty much in the same vein at this point. But Mangoh going to be able to take out the second tier 1 tower of the game for his team at this point. But now Venenu going to be boxing with Wowy. The 9 suns are down, but Wowy backflips just out of range.
Not a strong ultimate, and now half HP on the Wowy. Gets Cabrakan on in. There's a Sanctuary to stop the damage, but a stun. There's Athena. No follow-up stun. Kaeydan's afraid of that taunt and the damage out of Wowy. He's going to get taunted. No damage out of the Wowy just yet. Ground pound. Here comes the mid lane. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 4 going to hit. And there's the last one. Hunter gets the kill. 3 kills in a row, no deaths. But IFates shows up, drops the ultimate, purified away. And Wowy will be safe under the tier 2. Can't say the same about that tier 1 tower. Likely going to fall.
Okay, so how about that for the risky play? Risky play, a little bit riskier, getting a little bit more aggressive, and it worked out for him. They got the last tier 1 tower.
All right, and that right there was Killateral. Fantastic stuff out of him. Able to survive and get out of there, and then ultimate right on back, help out his Hunter, and just turn around that situation on the lane.
And good communication, too. That was a good call. Hey, maybe we shouldn't press this, but Killateral said no. Go ahead, go for that pressure, because then we'll may be able to make something out of it.
And certainly did. A couple of kills and a couple of runs. We've got Most Wanted up by about 1,000 golds, but risky behavior on the up and up. Certainly a little bit more awake than they looked earlier on. 21 blackjack on the clock, and risky leading by a kill. Most Wanted heading into the enemy jungle, giving chase onto the Hades. But more importantly, they're looking towards that speed buff. And risky know it, so they're going to show up again. 4 members deep just to secure their own jungle.
Hey man, that's the Challenger Cup way at this point. They're going full force, full ham on anything that they can to make sure that Most Wanted Esports don't get that.
Well, you mentioned that actually earlier on with the Challenger Cup. That's sort of the metagame has been very invade-based.
Invade-based, and I know I say the synergy with the mid lane and the jungle, so that's the biggest thing, and then invade-based. Because if you can catch somebody, like I said earlier, with their pants down, It's going to fluster them. It's also a mental game, too, because you have these people, they put so much into this. They're not pro players, but they want to be.
And so when you take out the jungle, it's one of those things where the players on the top tier level, right? The players on the pro level, they can find the small wins because as you mentioned with respect to the synergy, they can find those wins as a unit and they can find those wins as a team. These players making their way up through the pro-am scene, they have a little bit less experience on these big stages. So when you take away the easy farm, all that's left is the difficult farm, and it's not always there to take. Khepri forced to ultimate himself, and he'll live one more time. And different story as Most Wanted now on the aggression, turning around, teleport into the jungle, and now this could be trouble for Kaeydan. Taunt, not quite there. There's the Pillar of Agony, and it will be trouble for Kaeydan. Venenu, 4, 0, and 5 for the Shifter Shield Hunter.
Venenu going to be able to take him out, though, and now Risky Behavior setting their sights to this Gold Fury. Most Wanted Esports a little too far away, but now fineokay leading the charge. Sheyka does not have his ultimate. He used it to help get there, so now, don't leash at this point, but fineokay still in the fight. They are going to leash it. Why? But IFates taking out Sheyka in an explosion of damage.
Sanctuary going to save the life of the mid lane off screen, and the backflip on Wowy is going to be good. We're waiting basically for the dash out of Hades. As soon as that dash comes up, that's a dead Neith, but it looks like Risky's going to settle for the support and the solo laner. fineokay goes down for the count, and now Risky's going to go on to the Gold Fury. So I said don't leash before the rotation down below by Sheyka. As soon as Sheyka shows up, yes, collapse on the mage, turn and burn, go for it. Fantastic shot calling out of Most Wanted, and the ultimate going to clean up the Hunter as well. Not a smart play, or risky behavior, excuse me. Not a smart play by Wowy. Fantastic shot calling coming out from risky behavior, and they wind up on top of not just the team fight, but of the game. 2,500 gold in the lead for RB.
And checking out those graphs, it just tells the story of the back and forth that we've seen throughout this game. Both of these teams are pretty neck and neck. Like I said, they've only fought each other once, and now this is kind of personal for Risky Behavior.
You want to talk about Risky there, leading up their namesake. This team spent a little bit too long here in the jungle. I would have liked to see the Gold Fury and then an escape, but instead they tried to bite off a little bit more, go for a tier 1, and they'll trade their jungle there pretty much for nothing because of it.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscall coming out from there. They stayed there. They overstayed their welcome, and
exactly.
Just maybe it's just cockiness. But either way, they only lost one. It could have been a lot worse.
Oh, of course. It was just bad miscalling right there, or bad play calling. I think that the window seemed more open than it was. I understand why the squad went for it. I don't think it was a stupid call. I think it was just the wrong call. This, however, certainly the right call. Khepri ultimate going to be used, saving the life of the solo lane or the jungle, and it's only momentarily as Mangoh's able to clean up Cabrakan one more time.
And they cleaned up Cabrakan. They also made sure that Sabbeth's ultimate is down, and now it's got the crow's mark. He's going to be able to dash away, but Venenu just waiting for that dive bomb to get a little bit closer. They're not going to let this bug get away that easy, so instead they're going to take what they can, because they can't take down Sabbeth by themselves just yet, but they don't have to worry about that teamfight presence because he doesn't have the ultimate now.
Taking out the objective one more time. Red buff goes down, and there it is. The invade-based gameplay of our Challenger Cup team. Speed buff even stolen away by Mangoh. We have a speed Hades? Not quite.
Maybe. Speedy death.
Just walking around making it happen. The red buff on the Hunter, certainly a different story. Love to see that one. fineokay is going to show up and try to save his jungle's buff. Not going to happen. There's the ultimate out of Neith, and Killateral surrounded. He's going to fall. He's going to run. Looks like he'll be fine.
Surrounded and pinched. 9 Suns sent down as a zoning tool. Not necessarily something as aggressive, but fineokay going to be zoned out. But the Mystic Rush over the wall, still looking for Killateral. The ultimate coming out from Janus as well. But now Shaliber's on the receiving end of the Defender of Olympus. They're going to be coming in with a little bit extra defense. But Sabbeth not going to get the pull onto Mangoh as none of his team was there. They split up. He got the pull, but everybody else was on the other side of the buff camp.
Sabbeth has had a fantastic game. Even right there, he doesn't set up a kill, but he prevents the chase, and just great stuff coming out from the support here. Can't find the stun, finally does, as Kaeydan. Mangoh in some trouble here. 5 players going to ground and pound. Dash away is strong. And so Risky's still a lane. Will live to see another day.
We're going to start seeing the Fire Giant dance now. Both teams have felt each other out enough to know they can take it. So now it's going to be the same situation we saw with the Gold Fury, waiting to capitalize on 1, 2, maybe even 3 team members being caught out and taken off of the map for the other team to go ahead and start to strike.
Fates now up in the middle lane. He certainly wants to be a part of whatever squadron wants to go ahead and strike. Because like we said, that Fear No Evil, it's going to do 2 things. One, you can initiate. We've seen Fates initiate repeatedly with it, but it's also going to be fantastic disruption. And really what's going to enable this Hades to be so strong, Purify and...
Oh, talking about disruption,
wow.
Venenu going to be able to take out Sheyka. They were channeling the ultimate, but they weren't able to completely secure it, so no escape for the Janus.
That early... I guess it's not early. The game has been so hyperactive that it seems so... That crit was not expecting that crit. That Janus just disappeared.
He just got completely obliterated. But at this point, we are 27 minutes and 30 seconds into the game.
Yep.
Risky Behavior 15, Most Wanted Esports 8, and Risky Behavior is really putting on the pressure, going to take out another tower in this lane.
Just a whole bunch of aggression. As you can see, Most Wanted coming on down the side. Even over the wall comes Risky Behavior. There's the ultimate out of IFates. Picking up 1 right away. Shaliber trying to find 2, but the tower already down, and that's what Risky came here for. Venenu's certainly ready to give chase, and he will. Killateral, on the other hand, probably not as happy about it, but the taunt's there. The crit's there as well. Ultimate out of the support will save the life. And Most Wanted now on the back foot. Risky Behavior 3 deep. Ultimate out of the solo lane. Sabbeth in trouble. Can't dash out of that one. Finally finds an escape thanks to Janus. And the attention on the Phoenix. Half HP for the objective. Sheyka still alive. Not quite. Mangoh finds it with a basic. And the Phoenix is going to fall. Great play.
They find him with the basic, and they find the Phoenix with the basic, but they're not done yet. Mango's still in the depths of Most Wanted Esports territory, but he's Hades. He's going to be able to get out without necessarily too much of a scratch. I think the biggest thing that I saw in that team fight, Kaeydan's not doing as much damage as he was earlier.
And that's the story of Cabrakan. 7K in the lead is Risky Behavior, looking to stretch that out just a couple of 1,000 gold extra, and they certainly will. Nobody here for Most Wanted able to even think about defending. And that one goes the way of a Risky Behavior. Close to a 10,000 gold lead here, folks. Risky has pretty much broken this one open, just cracked the egg on its head. And Mangoh on the damage Hades. 4, 2, and 10. He's built the power boots into the Warlock Sash, which is pretty standard. And then you see the Book of Thoth. Now that, not quite as standard, but he's been able to bring a lot of the damage, a lot of the noise, and now building into the tanky stuff. Mantle of Discord, hugely expensive, and he's going to be finishing another cloak. So a lot of fun stuff coming out from this Hades build. Not exactly the best, not exactly the most efficient power curve, I would say, but can't knock it if it's working.
Exactly, and like I said earlier, I don't think Mango's necessarily going for that explosive damage. His team fight presence is what's really changed it out. We've seen it now in 2 fights throughout the entire game, one at a Gold Fury and one early on. And speaking of fight, forced to use the Mystic Rush out, fineokay, not in a good spot. 2 ultimates popped. Venenu gonna be able to get that last kill, but now the 9 suns are down. Athena's coming in to try and help out, and now Venenu's gonna be able to take out Kaeydan 2 for the double kill, and now they're continuing forward.
Jump on forward, there's gonna be an easy tower right there. And this one going to go down pretty much without a worry whatsoever. Risky to keep on pushing.
Yeah, they're just trucking along. This momentum's almost paramount in these games, because at that point you get it on the swing of things. It's mental and physical as well. So we're going to see Risky Behavior completely obliterate this Phoenix.
Killateral stuck one more time. Trading a support for a Phoenix wouldn't be too bad, but Killateral's got different plans. Dashing away is totally fine. Not too much of a hit. I love Venenu. He's just, come on through. Ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to hit you.
1v1 me, mate.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's saying right there. Just trying to find it. Hades going to heal up some of his teammates. And the back from Risky Behavior. Now sitting up 12,000 gold. This is certainly an uphill battle for Most Wanted.
So I remember earlier on in the game, there was nowhere near this lead coming out from Risky Behavior. There were maybe like a kill or 2 in between each other, maybe 6 to 7, 7 to 8. Most Wanted Esports have been completely shut down at this point for Risky Behavior. It's not over yet. We've seen worse upsets, and we haven't had a Fire Giant. And so that's gonna be what turns it.
This is also not the expected outcome for fans of the Challenger Cup.
Not quite.
Most Wanted has been, Alex, synonyms for dominant, please. They've just been wrecking pretty much the Challenger Cup, and Risky Behavior has had some nice showings. A lot of people kind of expected this to be the hot 2-0, but Risky, picking up the Fire Giant, picking up some Phoenixes, they are putting up a fight.
Picking up 12 extra kills as well. Now, Most Wanted...
That's the key, I think.
Yeah, Most Wanted never really faltered against another team. They falter with Sanguine throughout the Challengers Cup thus far.
Everyone does.
Of course, you know, they're pretty big force to be reckoned with. But Risky Behavior, like I mentioned earlier on, if you weren't here, they got 2-0'd in the first week versus Most Wanted, and now this is a definite turnaround.
How long is the Challenger Cup?
7 weeks.
That's a long time, and this one looks like it's going to be a short one. Ultimate out of the mid lane, dealing the damage as well as the crits. Ultimate Pillar of Agony going to collect 2 players, and 2 players are going to get out of it. Kaeydan won the easy way thanks to the ultimate. fineokay answers back. IFates takes out. It's a 1-to-1 at the moment. Left side, Most Wanted grouping up. IFates in trouble. Ultimate out of the Athena will save him for the moment, but he will find a spill. 2 dead on the side of Risky. This engagement in the mid Phoenix has not been as successful as they'd like. Venenu needs to find it, and he does. Mid Phoenix falls down. 2 players up for Most Wanted. Risky are going onto the Titan. This is exactly as their namesake says, pretty risky.
Exactly, but they're going to do a little bit of damage to this Phoenix. Instead, going to force the Sanctuary out of Wowy. Wowy did not want to deal with it. Going to be able to backflip to safety, but now there's nothing left between them and the Titan. Sheyka looking for something, not going to be able to find it. But Risky Behavior decide they're going to go ahead and back off. But Shaliber decides, you know what? No, thank you. I'm going to keep going. Purification.
1,000. Titan has just a hair of HP, and it's going to be taken out. Risky Behavior goes ahead, takes the game 24-10, just over a half hour of play. Risky on top.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Talk about that upset. We did not expect that. You did not expect that. I didn't.
Speak for yourself, miss.
Fair enough.
Speak for yourself. I did think Risky Behavior has a lot of talent here. Most Wanted, clearly the top card, especially if you've been following the Challenger Cup. But when it comes time to finals, things go differently. When it comes time to lands, best of 3s, it's a different style mainly. So Challenger Cup, break it down. I've worked it, you've worked it. Basically, you sit down for like 10 hours and you watch 10 hours of gameplay. Think about what it's like to be one of those teams, though.
Exactly. I mean, you gotta put yourself into it. You got to know your other teammates. You have to know the people you're going against, and there's so many. You start out with so many teams in the beginning. And
it just becomes this marathon race, whereas, all right, now it's time, Risky Behavior against Most Wanted. These are the teams that we have to play against. It's just these guys, we got to beat them in 3. You have time to prep. You have time to look. Picks and bans come out. A lot more strategic rather than just throw it at the wall, see what happens, and if we're still awake when finals comes, we'll see how it goes. But I think we got to see a lot of what you were talking about earlier on with that mid-jungle synergy. Here's Shaliber just wrecking it on the Raijin.
Explosive damage coming out from the Raijin. That's why he's such a big pick, but we're going to see him 1 kill onto Kaeydan, and then with the help of Mangoh, going to get not 1, but 2 kills for them. This ends up being the deicide as Venenu takes that double kill.
That's the play that I was talking about, where Mangoh doesn't wind up with the kills, but got so many of them. And Mangoh here, if you're a fan of the SCL at home, Mangoh is looking like Dwurst. Dwurst is the solo laner for Eager, and basically carried them through the entire first season of the SCL. And this Hades play is fantastic because it's all about knowing when the relics are burned and then able to follow up and find the extra, not damage, but the setup. Just getting everybody stuck in that Pillar of Agony and allowing players to follow up with it. So with that game, Risky Behavior is up 1. Let's take a look at the grand scheme of things as they're going up against Most Wanted. Sanguine against Weenie Hut Juniors will secure their spot into the finals. Unfortunately, we could not bring you the second game of that exchange, but Sanguine comes up on top, as I said, into the finals. And with your knowledge, Tiger, why don't you tell us Sanguine versus Weenie, expected result or not quite?
Expected. Sanguine have been an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
They mow through anything that they've been up against. They've definitely earned their first seed spot.
And that's exactly how they're going to take it right there in the finals, and they are guaranteed relegation now. The finals are to figure out first and second seed, of course, all about the Benjamins, and it's going to be finding out how they play against their SPL team. This